So let me ask you this. Do you realize that, or do you agree and understand this, that our reality is a reflection of our consciousness, right? And I'm learning more about this as I look back on how I got through those years of debilitating depression, paralyzing anxiety, major suicidal ideation, and chronic insomnia, PTSD, and all that shit that I went through. As I look back on it, being on the other side of it, after being overprescribed nearly 25 different medications, now being medication free, depression free, anxiety free, suicidal ideation free, free from all of it. And I'm creating these videos and this channel for people who are going through it, who want support, insight, and encouragement, hope, faith, and belief that they can get through this. At the same time, I'm asking those of us who are on the other side of it to band together, come together, and let's support those who are coming through it right now, who are deep in it. You know, I really believe we can come together and help those people and give them the hope and encouragement and belief that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. If you believe that, if you can believe and understand that someone like myself and so many others who got through this thing, that you can too. And that's my deliberate intention in creating these videos and putting this channel together. So if you can understand that your consciousness creates your reality, okay, if you understand that, let's break it down even further. The awareness you have is at a certain level right now. And I know for a fact you are conscious of how you feel right now at this very moment. Okay? The dominant feeling always wins. So if your dominant feeling right now is how bad you feel, the depression, the anxiety, and the heaviness of all of it, if that's your consciousness and your senses are telling you how bad you feel, if I can share one thing with you today on this video, and that would be to elevate your level of awareness to understand that what you're experiencing is what you're focusing on. Okay? And it's normal. It's your senses, it's your natural senses focused on and telling you, reminding you of where you're at mentally, your mental state, your mental conditioning is being reminded. You're being reminded of it on a minute by minute basis. If you're anything like I was constantly being reminded how fucked up and bad I felt. Okay? Looking back now, I know what I did to get through it. And I know 1000% that it worked. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here talking to you. But the more I dig into this thing, the more I research and really dig into it and understand what really happened up here, the more I can share with you guys and of the why it worked. And changing your brain is really what it comes down to. I changed my brain. I literally recreated new brain cells, neuroplasticity. You heard me say that before. And the dominant feeling is always going to win. Okay, so there's the formula. If the dominant feeling wins, then don't you think that if you could change the dominant feeling, then you would be experiencing life opposite of what you're going through right now? In other words, if your dominant feeling is depression, sadness, darkness, hopelessness, then you're going to experience that. You're going to experience that, right? What if you could change the dominant feeling to produce a different result? Does that make sense to you? Okay, so let me ask you this. So how do you do that? How are you going to, you're going to say, fuck, Brett, If you knew how deep I was, you would say it's almost impossible. And you know what? You're 100% right. I would say that because I did say that, but it's not the truth. The truth is, it is possible to change it. And I'm living proof of that. And I'm gathering people up to help you understand that we can do this together. If I can do it, they can do it, you can do it. The question is, how do you do it? The first thing, and I say this all the time, and I'm going to keep saying it, is that you have to believe that it's possible. And I use me as an example to you, and I share with you how deep and dark and fucked up I was so you understand. You look at me as an example like, this fucker was at rock bottom. Now here he is completely on the other side of it, free from all of it. If he can do it, I can do it. That's what I want you to be saying in your head right now. And I'm putting it out there so you can get the idea of, man, it was bad. It was awful. And I know that if I can get through it, you can get through it. So by looking back, what did I do? I had to believe, first of all, I had to believe that it was possible to create a better life. When nearly every ounce of me was thinking about suicide on a minute-by-minute basis for years, there was that tiny percent of me of hope that I was fighting to keep alive. And that's what I kept feeding and feeding and feeding until that 1% became 100%, and the depression is now 0%. And I've said it before, and I share this with you in pretty much every video, that I mastered meditation. Meditation replaced my medication. I'm not advising it to anybody else. I'm being very transparent with you. That's what I did because I believed that I could get through this if I could understand and really master the art of meditation to where my brain wanted more of it. I have an addictive personality. If my brain gets a taste of something that it really likes, my brain wants more of it. It's compulsive. OCD. I changed the disorder to a desire. Obsessive, compulsive desire to want a better life. I wanted to get out of the depression. I took my addictive personality and had it work for me rather than against me. Maybe you have one too. And maybe you're hearing this for the first time. If you can change the form of energy, because energy itself, as you know, is never created or destroyed. So how did I do that? Well, it was, again, I went deep into my meditations with powerful affirmations and visualization. And I stayed consistent with it. Again, you can't do this one time, expect for it to work. You have to go into it, the belief and knowing that, and trust, and be detached from the outcomes of the how it's going to happen. You know your what's and whys, the how is going to show up. So in that meditation, I would always amplify an intense feeling. Intensify and amplify that feeling. Like Dispenza says, you want to create an elevated emotion. And what I did is I asked myself the question, literally asked myself the question, how would I feel if I didn't feel depressed? What would emotional freedom feel like to me? And when I asked those questions, I didn't get out of my meditation. I didn't get out of my meditation till my brain gave me a fucking answer. I wanted an answer. As much as my body was fighting to get out of that meditation and fighting to go do something because it was hard just sitting still in it, I made it sit still. Like Dispenza says, it's like taming a wild animal, right? You just got to, I think he uses an example of a horse. You know, it's like taming a horse. You got to, your body wants to go and get up and do something, and you just got to sit it down. You're not going to get out of this meditation until you give me an answer. What would it feel like to have emotional freedom? And I asked that so many times, and eventually my brain started responding. I started getting an answer, and the answer was tiny, tiny, tiny at first, but then it got bigger and bigger and bigger. And the bigger it got, the more I wanted to keep doing it, the more I wanted to keep doing it and get that feeling of relief. Because honest to God, the meditation was the only place at first where I could ever find an ounce of relief to the pain and suffering I was enduring on a minute by minute daily basis. So eventually I looked forward to my meditations as I do to this day. I don't want to get out of that bed until I'm fully ready and equipped and saying my gratitude and saying thank you. And thank you for the blessings of a supernatural day. I do that. And then once I get out of the bed, I sit in my chair, and that's when I get deep in my meditation. And in my bed, before I roll out, before I start messing around with the cell phone and worrying about your day, just give thanks. Gratitude is the most powerful human emotion you can possibly have. Start with that. Start with the gratitude and saying thank you for the blessings of this super amazing day. And then what does that feel like? What would it feel like to you if you can get out of the bed in the morning and not be hit with the weight of and the darkness of that depression? What would that feel like to you? Answer that question. And then when you ask yourself that question, see yourself doing something, visualize yourself doing something in lightness, not the dark heaviness of the depression. And because again, your imagination is your most creative power. Use it to your advantage, not to your disadvantage. Allow it to override your senses, because again, your senses are telling you how bad you feel. You're consciously aware of how bad you feel. Whatever you're conscious of, you're going to receive. It's going to give birth. Whatever you're feeling is going to become real. It's going to be realized in your life. So why not imagine the best for yourself? And I know in the beginning, it's hard. I get it. It's hard in the beginning. Believe me, I would have probably told this video to go fuck himself because I know how hard it is. I understand that. I get it. But being on the other side, you have to trust the process. You have to trust that if you can sit in it and give thanks to something you yet do not have, but are confident and believe you will have, your body is going to be in alignment with that. That feeling inside your body is going to signal the brain as this is your new norm. And it will be your new norm. It's going to be the new feeling in your body. You have to start changing the old programming first, though. You have to give thanks that you already have it. Believe you already have it. And how's that going to feel in your brain if you say, I am depression free? Just by saying that, I am depression free. What does that feel like? Well, again, the baby step is what would the space in this room feel like? If I could just become one with the space in this room, if the dominant feeling in my body was the space in this room, would that be depression? No, it wouldn't be depression. It would not be depression. It would be just the space, the energy. It would be just feeling free from all of it. It may sound hokey what I'm saying to you right now. It may sound woo-woo. I understand. I get all that. I understand exactly how you could be feeling because it's different. It's unfamiliar. But listen, don't you think that it's worth trying? Because I know how bad I felt. If I came across this video and I was at my darkest moments, I'd at least give it a shot and try it. Because otherwise, the thought of being stuck in that state for the rest of my life created more anxiety and more depression. At least this could be giving you hope and inspiration. Looking at this, like, look, I did it. You can too. You can do this. And the second you say, well, you don't know my story, you don't know how bad I feel, what you're really doing, okay, what you're aware of what you're saying, but are you aware of what you're doing? Those words are being impressed on the subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind hears that, and then it has to act on that. It's not going to tell you differently. It's going to take what you're saying for face value, and then the volition to act is going to keep creating the same results. So you have to consciously change the programming of the subconscious mind so you begin to see different results in your life. And remember, the dominant feeling always wins. So the dominant feeling can be based on faith saying, yes, I believe I can change. I believe there's a better life ahead of me. I believe I can live with emotional freedom. I believe I can be depression free. If you say that over and over and say, I believe it before you feel it, eventually you will begin to feel it and experience it and see it. And I promise you, when the belief part is the biggest component of this whole thing, because without that, you're not going to ascend. But with that, the sky's the limit. Believe me when I say that to you. That's the fact. Okay. So again, take what I've been sharing with you, try it, apply it, and give it time. Be fair to yourself. Give it some time to let it start working. Take the seeds of I am and plant those seeds and allow them to grow. Nurture them. Plant, cultivate, harvest. Allow those seeds to take root and sprout and start to begin to see different results in your life. And when you DM me and message me and like and subscribe and all that cool stuff, it allows me to be more relatable to your situation. Again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not. I've seen enough of them. I've tried it all. And what I'm sharing with you was pretty unique and pretty amazing, how that when I started believing something better was possible for me, then the answers would start to show up. Maybe you've been searching for an answer. Maybe you said, you know what, fuck it, I'm done. I really feel like I want a better life. And then this video pops up on your feed or on your screen or wherever you're finding it, right? So again, the belief part's the biggest component. All right? Believe it's possible. Take small steps in a better direction and visualize having yourself a better life, and then pair that with an elevated emotion or intensified emotion, right? Amplified emotion, and then allow yourself to feel that emotion, and then do it again and do it again. And before you know it, it's going to become part of who you are. And this depression you're going through and the anxiety is going to be so far in your rearview mirror, you won't even recognize it anymore. You're going to be a brand new person. I want you guys to be fucking bold. Hit me back, and I will see you on the next video.